It's kind of like, you know how they have the car parks where you got the Toyota dealership and the Ford dealership and the Chevy dealership? If you find out that every single one of those car salesmen drives a Toyota, then your choice about which car to buy is pretty much done, right? These are the people that know these products the best. And if all the Ford salesmen are driving Toyotas and all the Chevy salesmen are driving Toyotas, that tells you that the Toyota might just be the best car. And it's the same thing here. The VA loan is the best mortgage there is. Every single person that's in the industry, that's an industry insider, that I've ever met, myself included, that was eligible to use the VA loan to buy their first house, use the VA loan to buy their first house. So it's not really a question about which one is the best loan. That right there should tell you everything you need to know. The next thing, the first step towards getting buying a house, the first step towards buying your first house is getting pre-approved. A lot of people want to call the realtor first because they watch HGTV and find that's valid. But if you call a realtor before you're pre-approved, all the realtor is going to say is, are you pre-approved? And if you say no, all they're going to say is, great, go get pre-approved and give me a call back. And then you're going to feel kind of stupid, which is your right if you want. But there's really no reason at this point not to get pre-approved first. That's the first step towards homeownership, is getting pre-approved. That's not even VA specific. That's just general information. The next thing that everyone should know about the VA loan is that the companies that specialize them are usually not the best deal, not even remotely close. Anyone that's been in the military knows about the car dealership right outside the base gates. That's the best metaphor here. They've got 20,000 American flags. They're super patriotic, and they've got special deals for E1 and up. And then that, E3 or E4 drives back on base. And of course, they've got the 24% APR on that ridiculously expensive car on their $1,200 a month base salary, which is completely ridiculous, but the car dealerships don't care. So watch out for anyone that's pumping the patriotism too hard on that. In fact, this little background, this theme I did here, is more or less satire on that. So that's why I went totally over the top with this. By the way, I will share that background image later on if anyone wants to see it and save it or whatever. This is the next weird quirk about the VA loan, and is that this is unique to VA loans. No other loan type has this emphasis on marriage. But if you, on your income alone, cannot achieve the price point that you want and you need someone else to go on that mortgage with you, unless they are your spouse or another veteran or someone that otherwise has VA loan entitlement, unless one of those few things are met, in general, you should plan on 12.5% down. So I did this joke here about, your girlfriend or boyfriend or whomever, if you need their income to help you qualify for the price point you want, then you have to get married. That's the only way it can work. This one obviously is a little self-plug for me. The one and only potential downside of the VA loan is the VA funding fee, which is charged by the Department of Veterans Affairs. So there's a chart, you can just Google search it. And if you are not at least 10% disabled as rated by the VA, then you will pay that funding fee. You usually don't pay that out of pocket. They roll into the loan balance to make the 0% down thing possible, but that is literally the only downside of the VA loan benefit. The seventh thing that everyone should know about the VA loan is that as of a few years ago, there are effectively no size limits on the VA loans. Before that, you could only do a 0% down VA loan up to a certain amount. That size limit effectively is gone. So we, in fact, have done $2.5 million VA loans with 0% down, which is completely insane and only possible with the VA loan. And the old rule saying that just because you can doesn't mean you should, that certainly applies here. One thing about VA loans is that the foreclosure rates after 2008 for VA loans did not spike up like every other loan type. In fact, VA loans consistently have lower foreclosure rates than any comparable loan product out there. And because of that, VA loans were never regulated after the 2008 meltdown. And because of that, you can still get very irresponsible. So just make sure that you keep your head on your shoulders. Don't do anything irresponsible. Make sure you don't take out a loan that you can't afford the payments on. This one is a common point of contention. VA loans will not let you buy a fixer-upper. You have to buy basically a turnkey ready house. In California, Section 1 of the termite report has to be clear, which means there cannot be active evidence of infestation, and that must be proven by a pest inspector. The interesting thing about that, as someone that was in the military, is that they certainly didn't have those standards for the barracks rooms that we were expected to live in, but they do for the house you buy. So the house you buy has to be nicer than any barracks room you ever lived in while you were in the military, which is really funny, but it is what it is. Watch out for realtor anti-veteran discrimination. A lot of realtors just don't like veterans. They don't like the VA loan. That's fine. That's their prerogative. If you encounter any sort of bias or, hey, the VA loan is too hard to use in this market or it's difficult, any pushback like that, I'm going to give you a really simple solution. You fire that realtor immediately and you find a new one. If you need help with that, just feel free to reach out. You can click on the link in my bio or click down there and put your information in either way. But there's no reason to tolerate a realtor that's going to be a negative Nancy about your VA loan benefit. And the reality is The reality is getting an offer accepted, it is difficult, and it takes a lot more than an email or putting the offer together and emailing it over. It does take sales, and that negative Nancy attitude they have towards your VA loan benefit, it's going to carry over to that. Which means, yeah, for that realtor, it's not possible to use VA loan with that realtor because they're being negative about it. So again, if you encounter any sort of negative attitude about your VA loan benefit, that's fine. Just fire that realtor, find a new one. That's my very simple solution to that. This one is rare, but it does come up. The VA loan is available to all branches of the uniformed services of the United States. And there's a difference there between the uniformed services and the armed services or the armed forces. So in addition to the armed forces, you can actually use the VA loan if you are in the Public Health Service Commission Corps. And yeah, I'm reading my notes here because I don't know how to say this. Or the Public Health Service Commission Corps. I actually did one of those. His job was, I did his loan in like 2019, and his job was to study pandemics and infectious diseases. And when COVID hit, early in COVID, I actually checked in with him, and I was like, hey, is this really a big deal? Should I really panic? Should I really worry about this? Because I was like, I know someone that actually worked in that space. The last thing, don't worry too much about your FICO score with the VA loan. VA loans are not very FICO score sensitive. Most loans, you get penalized very severely on your interest rate if you don't have basically perfect credit. VA loans, not the case. So don't worry too much about that. If your FICO score is 680, 640, 620, whatever, that's fine. As long as it starts with a 6 instead of a 5, you are almost certainly good to go. Those are the 12 things you need to know about the VA loan. And if you want to join me again, here once again is our agenda for the week. So this is the Mortgage Matter series every Monday through Thursday at 12:15 California time. And here's what we're going to be talking about for the rest of the week. That's all I have. Have a good day.